Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here to talk about Married at First Sight, season 18. We were supposed to be talking about the reunion, part one. That's what we were supposed to be talking about. But as I was going back and watching reunion part one, and I was reading through my comments, y'all was letting me know that Juan had released a video on his Instagram account that he was being blackmailed by Karla. So y'all know I had to rush over there right away and look at the video. And you know what? I don't even want to spend that much time talking about reunion part one because I really want to get to this Juan video. Because let me tell you something, y'all. Let me tell you something. I tell you, all things come to the light. All things come to the light. And all season long, y'all know I've been ride or die with Karla. And it's not because I don't see Karla's flaws. A couple of times I pointed them out. But I really saw Juan's. And I know Juan has tried to do an overwhelmingly good job this season with his toxic positivity. And now what we see in this video we're about to watch is it all unraveling. Because really toxic positivity is fakeness. It's fakeness because what you're doing is you're not actually expressing your real thoughts and your real emotions, and you're trying so hard to turn shit into caviar or whatever the case may be, that it's almost like you are in a delusional state. Now, Juan wants us to believe that he is the realist and he lives in the real world, and it's Karla who lives in the fantasy world of Sage and stuff like that. But when I looked at this video, I only watched it one time. So, I got to watch it another time, and I'm going to watch it this second time with all of you. We're going to watch it and stop it and talk about it. But my first impression of when I watched the video is that Juan is spiraling. He's spiraling. The premise of the video that Juan is going to tell us is that he is now being blackmailed by Karla and Karla's family. So first of all, we're all like, blackmail? What you got, Juan? What do you have that Karla's family is going to blackmail you? Is it for money? Because we found out over the course of this season that warehouse Juan likes to take everyone to is owned by his partner. See, Juan keeps wanting to act like he has a 20,000 square foot warehouse. He doesn't have a 20,000 square foot warehouse. The man that he does business with owns the warehouse. Those are two different stories. And now Juan is going to pitch this story to us that Karla has created a bot account. Bot accounts are actually computers. So I hope Juan knows what he's talking about. I hope he knows what he's talking about. Bot accounts are computer operated accounts. Because if he just said a fake account, I'd be like, okay, but he's talking about a bot account. He's saying Karla has created a bot account to basically, I guess, harass him and blackmail him for, I don't know what Juan has to blackmail him for, but he seems to believe that there's some information that's covered under an NDA and that the family is somehow saying, if you don't say nice things about Karla, then we're going to release information about you that's covered under the NDA for the show. Juan is spiraling. Because what Juan is going to try to convince us of is Karla, who he has said, and everyone else has said out here who doesn't like Karla, that Karla is broke, Karla is homeless, Karla doesn't even know how to turn on the stove, Karla doesn't even know how to cook, Karla can't even do a business plan. These are all the things we've heard about Karla. Karla's into, Sage and what's the Palo Santos, whatever it's called. She's in all of these esoteric things. But somehow or another, Karla does have enough know-how and sense in how to create a bot account. This is what Juan wants us to believe. And then she has enough of a plan to make sure that that bot account does these things that Juan is talking about. Juan is spiraling. You know, I wish I could give the person credit who told me toxic positivity, but I would have to go through all my comments to find the person. But you know who you are. You know who you are, and I want to thank you. Because once you told me about what Juan is practicing toxic positivity, I just couldn't get it out of my mind. I couldn't get it out of my mind because it's so accurately depicted what Juan's issue is. And it really tied into what I told you about Juan's situation. Juan operates from a trauma position of fear. He always fears the worst. This is what it is programmed into Juan because of his trauma. So you remember Juan's childhood story was the reason why his parents gave him up was because the maid that they had, remember Juan told us they were poor, but somehow they had a maid. So they were poor with a maid, and that maid tried to kidnap him. What is he, the Prince of Zimbabwe? The maid tried to kidnap you. The maid that your poor family had in Colombia with the cartels tried to kidnap you. Juan is spiraling. I believe that one of the things Juan has tried to work on with his therapist, this is how I think he got to toxic positivity, is that Juan is actually a very negative thinker. In his real, authentic self, because of his childhood trauma, Juan is a negative thinker. And what the therapist has probably tried to do for Juan is try to reprogram him so he doesn't think so negatively of things right out front, and that he tries to keep an open mind. But when it's just like any person who's trying to overcome a bad habit or have an addiction or any type of, mental gymnastics they have to do, there comes moments when the pressure is so great on you in your life at that moment that whatever thing you've done, therapy you've done to help yourself in your normal situation, you can regress, you could spiral out, and Juan is spiraling out. He's now cooked up a story that whatever backlash he's getting on social media, because I'm sure he's getting some, it's because Karla has created a bot account, and that bot computer generated account, she's the mastermind behind it, and she's going after him. And so now what he's had to do is to get a lawyer because he doesn't want it to turn legal. What the hell? And he's on here saying all of this stuff about Karla and her family, accusing them of basically blackmail. But at the same time, he's saying that he's a victim of them with no proof. So let me get this straight, Juan. You are a victim of Karla, blaming them for blackmailing you. But I don't know, audience, viewers, let me know. Have you seen anything in social media about Karla bashing Juan? Because if Juan had not done these videos, would we even know anything about this? So in a lot of ways, did Juan create the scenario that he's actually being afraid of? And that's what I mean about a mindset. Juan conjures up fears automatically in his head. This goes back to what I told you about Karla. I know there's a fundamental difference between people who like Karla and people who don't like Karla. And I think one of the biggest divides I have with a lot of people is people looked at a lot of the behavior as Karla and they associate it with being dusty, lazy, all these sorts of things. I, on the other hand, was able, in my own mind, whether it's right or wrong, whether y'all agree or not, to parse some of the behaviors of Karla and attribute it differently than other people did. The first one I want to say is the one where they call Karla homeless and living in a shed. I didn't have the same opinion because honestly, y'all, I could see myself doing what Karla did, and I don't consider myself a dusty. If I had a lease that ran out and I was about to go on Married at First Sight and possibly meet the love of my life, I too would hold off signing a new lease. I would. Now, I would just hold off on doing it. So it didn't really bother me that Karla did that. The other part is I didn't have a problem with Karla doing it. And people might say, well, isn't that hypocritical because I was hard on David living in his parents' basement apartment? And I'm going to say, no, I don't feel like it's hypocritical because what I feel like is David was trying to sell us shit and tell us he was selling us caviar. That's the fundamental problem I had with David. The problem I had with David is he was not truthful about the reason why he was living in his mother's basement apartment. That's what I had a problem with. It's the same problem people have with David now with the Madison situation. He lies. He doesn't tell the truth. He lied to us and told us the reason he's living in the basement apartment was to save money, do all these other kind of things, and none of it ended up being true. I know on this reunion, part one, Madison is going out of her way to make sure that David is not presented, David turns around his image. On reunion part one, we got to see Madison and David show up in their emerald green matching prom outfits. Last time they was in the matching red, like they were devil worshipers. Now they're over here in matching emerald green, like they're going to be part of the Wicked cast. I don't get these two. They go out of their way to sort of make statements and be seen and all this. It's just ridiculous how much they do. And I know right now Madison is the leader in this whole scheme to make sure that her story turns out and tells everyone, see, I told you so. So on this reunion that I saw, that they tell us that they went and bought an investment property, good for them. Good for them. Y'all know I'm into investment properties, real estate, good for them. But the story behind it, that somehow David highly contributed to that investment property, is not true. And Madison, we know it. And it's okay, Madison. This is what I'm having a problem with. I don't have a problem with what people do. I have a problem when they try to lie to us and sell us shit as if it were caviar. Madison, we know that you overwhelmingly contributed to that investment property, and it's okay. And the reason why we know it is because when Michelle called David out on his savings, David admitted he didn't have a lot of savings and that he was not ready to buy any type of property, but he could be possibly ready in a couple of years. Now, I know it has been a year since the show ended, but I'm telling you right now, I already know David did not overwhelmingly contribute to that investment property. I know Madison has gone out wanting someone to come and film them getting rings because got a ring, and Madison wanted to be sure that when she showed up to the reunion, she had a ring. I said it in my last video, and she did exactly that. All of this is orchestrated by Madison. I have said it from the beginning that Madison is the driver of all this. David might think he's in control. He might think he pursued Madison. He shot his shot. He didn't. There was a trap laid for him. Whether it's a trap he wanted to be caught in, it doesn't really matter. The point of the matter is Madison has been driving this car from the very beginning, and David is a passenger in it. And Madison is going to make come true, like I said before, a hoe to a housewife. And that's fine. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for any couple that finds love. But what I'm not going to allow people to do is to feed us shit and make us believe that it's caviar, because it's not. And so now we've got Juan on here, done a video. And what Vaughn is going to go over is he's going to go all over the negative things about Karla. He's going to go over the negative things about Karla, which is fine. Once again, I had no problems with Juan not wanting to be with Karla. I've been watching Married at First Sight for, I don't know, all the seasons. I don't have a problem when people don't like someone. But what I have a problem with is when you lie. That's what I got a problem with. And now Juan's toxic positivity, where he didn't want to tell the truth about why he wasn't interested in Karla, which he should have just said that, because he was so intent on being toxic positivity, he actually slipped over into lying. And he doesn't know the difference. And what he thinks he did was he thinks he took the high road. That's what he thinks. He always frames every toxic positivity situation as taking the high road. He tried to tell MM to take the high road. He tried to tell Alan to take the high road. Listen, Juan. Juan, listen. Expressing your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, even if those thoughts and feelings are not in agreement with others, does not mean that they're negative. It just means that you may not agree with a person. Nothing is wrong with disagreeing. Please, my whole YouTube channel is really around a lot of people who agree with me. Sometimes they disagree with me. Sometimes the majority of time they disagree with me. Sometimes they agree with me. That's why I love my audience, because you know what? We can all get along and we don't all have to think alike. But what Juan tries to do in his toxic positivity is he actually tries to turn and shape the mindsets of everyone else to believe what he believes. He believes that if we see the exact same thing, we should all think the same thing. I don't think like you, Juan. I don't have the triggers like you, Juan. I don't have the trauma like you, Juan. So when Karla moved her stuff into a storage locker, I didn't have no problem with it. I did not have a problem with it. Now, if you told me prior to that, Karla didn't have a place to live, then I would be talking to you. But clearly, Karla had a place to live. Karla quitting a job. Let's talk about that. First of all, Karla got on this show telling us she had worked since she was 12 years old. She also got on this show telling us she had 4 jobs. I'm also a female in which I've gone a hairstylist my entire life. When Karla says, I quit my job at this hair salon, I'm saying, okay, you have 4 jobs, you quit 1. That doesn't send me spiraling. That does not trigger me. But someone who has come from poverty, someone who has experienced trauma from their poverty, someone who has a history of having financial insecurity and scares, I could understand how if a person have 4 jobs and you quit 1, you could get a little tense. You could get tense. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But just because I get it doesn't mean I have the same response from you. And it doesn't mean that I have the same level of fear for you. The fact that Karla quit one of her 4 jobs didn't bother me at all. It didn't bother. And he said, and she had no plan. That didn't bother me at all. You know why that didn't bother me at all? Because I've been getting my hair done as a female for a long, long time. And one of the girls I still go to still does my crochet braids. You know, she used to do my, flat iron. She's done all the different hairstyles I've gone through the years. She's done them. You know how many times this girl has changed shops? Do you know how many times this girl has changed shops where she works? And every time she changed shops, she'll say, girl, I'm not over there no more. I'm over here. Why are you over there, girl? Girl, that over there, it was too much going on. I didn't like the owner of the shop. The girls in the shop, they were too catty. They were this, they were that. Ladies, speak to me here. Am I the only one that doesn't have a problem with your hairstylist changing shops because it's kind of common in the hairstylist business? I mean, didn't anybody watch Beauty Shop? Don't y'all know the drama that goes on in salons? And oftentimes the stylists be getting into it. They don't like each other. People be moving. They don't like the owner. They don't like this. They don't like, and they move on. It didn't bother me to hear Karla say she wasn't getting along with the owner of the salon. It didn't bother me. It didn't trigger me. But Juan was triggered by it. That's fine, Juan. I don't have your childhood traumas. What I actually was impressed with by Karla, and I'm going to tell you why I was impressed with Karla, was that even when Karla left her job, there was a client of hers that was still so hungry and desperate to get her hair done by Karla that girl was willing to get her hair done in a bathroom. I know a lot of people looked down on Karla about that and thought it was ghetto and all this other kind of stuff. That's fine. But I looked at it more as like, wow, that girl was willing to go to that level to get her hair done by Karla. And what I thought about was, I thought about friends that I have where I go get my hair done when I get it done, where I've gotten my hair done in that girl's kitchen, in her living room when she was in between shops. I have a friend that lives in Northern California that has flown down from Northern California to Southern California just to get her weave done by this girl we get our hair done by, because the girl does hair so great. She was willing to buy a ticket from Northern California to get her hair done by this woman. When people find a good hairstylist, I know maybe Juan don't know it, but you will follow that hairstylist no matter where they go. And that's actually a marker of a good hairstylist. So when people were looking down on Karla for doing hair in the bathroom, I actually had a different mentality. I had the mentality like, dang, Karla must be really good. Karla must be really good that people are willing to get their hair done in her bathroom. Now, Karla not being able to cut on the stove, I ain't got no answer for that. I ain't gonna lie. I don't have no answer for why Karla did not know how to cut on that gas stove. Like I said, there's some things Karla needs to work on, and maybe that is one of them. But let me tell you the other one I didn't have no problem with Karla. I didn't have a problem with Karla not doing wifely domesticated duties for Juan, because Juan has made it pretty clear from the very beginning that he was not interested in Karla being a wife. And let me tell you something I'm not going to do to a man who has clearly decided I'm not wife material, which Juan is now telling us on this doggone video, which I still ain't played yet. I know I still ain't played it. Juan has told us that Karla is not wife material for him. I'm fine, Juan. I'm good with it, which means don't expect me to be doing no wifely duties for you, which means don't expect me to be cleaning up after you, cooking for you, ironing for you, washing for you. And what Juan said was he had to do the majority of things around the house. One thing I know about these apartments, there are 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. They all have them. And that's because when the couples don't get along, they want these couples to be able to have separate quarters. So I'm quite sure that Karla and Juan had separate bathrooms. I'm quite sure of it. So I'm quite sure that what Karla did was Karla cleaned her own bathroom. And what Juan wanted was Juan wanted Karla to also clean his bathroom, which was probably the guest bathroom. Imagine this. Imagine a 2-bedroom apartment. 1 bedroom is a master suite, which means the bathroom is connected to the bedroom. The bathroom is connected to the bedroom. So imagine this, that Karla and Juan are in this apartment and they have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. And the bathroom in the master bedroom is the bathroom that Karla uses because that's the one attached to the master bedroom. There's a separate guest bathroom that Juan probably uses to get ready in. Well, when guests come over, and now that guest bathroom is dirty because it's the one that Juan has been using, what Juan wanted Karla to do was to clean it. That's what he wanted Karla to do. Well, I'll tell you this. In my house, we got a guest bathroom, and I tell my husband all the time That bathroom needs to stay clean for guests when they come over. Now, when guests come over and my husband has gone in that bathroom and funked it up or done whatever else, you know what I do to him? I say, you need to go clean that bathroom because we have a bathroom that you could use. But I like a bathroom clean for guests. But if you want to use it, you want to funk it up, you want to leave shit skid marks in the toilet, you want to do whatever the hell you want to do in there, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you not to use it. But when it comes time for guests to come over, your ass going to be in there cleaning it. Your ass is going to be in there cleaning it. Call me a bad wife. But let me tell you something. I'm a wife. And I told my husband that. Now, Karla, on the other hand, is not a wife because Juan has already told her in more ways than one, he ain't going to stay married to her. But Juan wants Karla to clean up after him, cook for him. I wouldn't do it either. Karla don't even eat that much food. Look at Karla. How much does Karla weigh? 105? 107? So all this cooking Juan wants Karla to do, why should she be doing wifely duties for you when you have clearly said you're not interested in Karla? Nah, Juan, you are spiraling. And part of this video, like I said, we still ain't watched the video. We still ain't watched the video. But once again, what I believe has happened to Juan is Juan has been caught off guard by people still liking Karla in spite of all these things that they say are her flaws. She's broke. She's homeless. She's irresponsible. She don't know how to color on the stove. She ain't got no business plan. But yet she's smart enough and tech savvy enough to create a bot account to blackmail Juan. You know, in the last episode, I was giving Karla credit saying, Karla, thank you for telling Juan you really don't want to be friends with him after the show because I'm telling you it's going to hold you back in your relationship. I was disappointed in the reunion when I heard Karla tell us that she and Juan go out for coffee every once in a while and they talk and they text and they share business plans. I told you, Karla, don't do it. I told you don't do it. And I told everyone, leave the past in the past. And now what we have here is we have Juan, after 1 year, who is bitter and upset over the fact that Karla initially said she really didn't need to be friends with Juan. It was Juan who pursued the friendship. Juan, go off with your girlfriend. Go off with your new girlfriend. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I've seen the pictures of the new girlfriend. She's a pretty girl, but I'll tell you this, it's more selfishness by Juan, because when I saw that picture that Juan posted on Instagram of his girlfriend, the sort of coming out, the sort of official introduction of his girlfriend, I thought to myself, dang, did he run this picture by her? Because in that picture, she don't even look like she all that interested. And it told me, Juan, of all the pictures you could have picked out to be your cover shot of your new girl, why this picture? Why this picture, Juan? And I said, first of all, I think it was to point out that this is more of what his type is, which, let me tell you something, another part, I don't even completely believe that this woman looks like she is Latina. And before Juan got on Married at First Sight, I don't even think he dated a Latina girl. I don't. Because Juan kept telling us that he could never find a girl who could appreciate his immigrant roots, but also appreciate his American side. And I kept saying, Juan, where do you live that you can't meet a Latina? And so when they finally did hook him up with a Latina and Karla, I think Juan got his first taste of even dating a Latina girl. And now all of a sudden, after Married at First Sight, he decides he's going to date a Latina girl. I think Juan used to date white women. I do. So once again, when I tell you that he used Karla to heal portions of himself, I believe it. I looked at this Instagram account of Juan and I said, how the heck does Juan have a blue check already? A blue check mark. How is he a verified Instagram account with a blue check? I mean, literally, Juan must have stopped filming and immediately applied for this. Or from what I hear, you can buy them now. I don't even know if you can buy the blue check marks. I don't even know. But the fact that this man only got 7,000 followers and he already got a blue check mark. Instagram, you need to raise your standards. You need to raise your standards. And then I look at the name of Juan's Instagram account, Juancho's Ponchos. Isn't that the name that Karla gave him, Juancho? Was Juancho his nickname before Karla? Somebody can correct me, but I thought Karla gave him that nickname. So Karla gave him the nickname of Juancho. And here we have, once again, Juan taking all of this stuff from Karla, but yet also wanting to take from her, but also wanting to put her down from the things that he tried to take from her. You saw it all season long. You saw him start talking about bad energy. You start here talking about bad juju. He started talking about he was eating the tacos that Alan had prepared, and that because Alan had all this frustration, he was also eating the energy of Alan. What are you talking about, Juan? You don't even believe in this stuff. This is stuff Karla believes in, but all of a sudden you're regurgitating it. Your whole Instagram account is Juancho's Ponchos, which is a name Karla came up for you. Juan is spiraling in this Instagram video that we still haven't watched, and I know we haven't watched it, and I'm going to play it. Because what Juan is confused over, is how can Karla be who she is in his eyes? Jobless, homeless, irresponsible, doesn't clean, doesn't cook, but she still has a fan base that she has. And I'm going to tell you, Juan, the answer. It's not a bot account. That's not why we like Karla. We like Karla because no matter Karla's flaws, no matter what she needs to work on, she's willing to show us that and not try to sell us shit and call it caviar. Karla didn't hide the fact that she had her shit in a storage unit. She wasn't like David running around talking about he lived in a basement apartment, later found out it was his parents, later found out that it had an entrance to his mother's house up top, later found out that the apartment was filled with bar equipment. These are two different stories. It's the story of a person being truthful and honest and saying, this is what it is. I don't have no problem with it. This is how I live. Versus a person like Juan, who came on here in the very beginning, trying to make us believe that he had all this and that he was all that. And actually, as time has gone by, you're pretty regular, Juan. I mean, you're not a dusty, nothing's wrong with you, but you're pretty regular. And what you try to do is you try to elevate yourself over Karla as if you were better and she was less than you. And now here we are at the end of the season. And what you're miffed about is how can Karla have such a fan base and you don't really have one? Juan ain't got no fan base. He doesn't have one. And this is what is bothering him. So what he's decided to do, which was a horrible, horrible move on his part, was he decided to start to try to sully the name of Karla, because what he wanted to grab back what he always wanted was he always wanted to be the one to look good. And what he didn't like that Karla had a bigger fan base than him. So he has resorted to this nasty tactic of being on Instagram. But instead of doing this, he's now saying Karla has created a bot account and Karla's family is now blackmailing him. And Juan has said he's had to lawyer up. Now, that was a long, long introduction. So I'm going to play my introduction music right now. And after I play my introduction music, we're going to come back and we're going to watch this Instagram video of Juan so y'all can see what I'm talking about, because I still probably got more stuff to say.
Hey guys, if you looked at my last story, I really truly hate that it has come to this. It's sad. It's sad because my experience so far.
Okay, so you see what I'm talking about? The blue check mark. How does he have a blue check mark and he only got 7,000 followers and his name is Juancho Panchos? That's his picture. I don't like him. I told y'all from the very beginning I don't like him. And I knew from the very beginning I don't like him. And I don't like this move of his. It is weak. For a lack of a better word to call it, it is so weak. But he's saying he hates that it's come to this. How did it come to this? Please, somebody refer me to a video of Karla bashing Juan. Juan's ego was hurt. He was hurt even when Karla said she didn't want to be his friend no more. His ego was hurt. You saw it written all over his face. Okay? Anyway, let's keep going. Juancho Pancho. No bueno.
Experience so far on Married at First Sight has been great. I went on Married at First Sight because I thought, it would be an interesting way to meet the love of your life. But I was also very realistic.
Okay, his experience on Married at First Sight has been great. Once again, this is part of this toxic positivity. Now, you could say it wasn't bad because you didn't fuss and fight, but it's not great. If the goal is to go on Married at First Sight and to get married, you cannot say it was great. Great is when all expectations have been met. If your original expectation of going on Married at First Sight was to get married, then you could say my experience was good. It wasn't bad, but you cannot call it great. Juancho Pancho, toxic positivity. It was good. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't as bad as someone others, but it's not great. Call a spade, Juan. Call a spade. What is the problem? The problem is your therapist has tried to reprogram you so much to turn everything into a positive experience that now you've lost sense of reality. Before you were too heavily on the negative, now you don't even live in reality. People want to say Karla lives in the clouds. No. Karla don't live in the clouds. What Karla recognizes is she can't control everything. That's being real. You don't control everything. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in psychics, spirits, whatever it is you believe in. The theory behind this is you don't control everything. You don't control everything. Juan, on the other hand, thinks he controls everything. This is part of his problem. That's why his mind spirals, because his mind tricks him into believing that he is responsible for and can control everything. So if you do this, you get this outcome. If you do this, you get this outcome. Juan is without any spirituality. Juan has told us, once again, I'm not playing the video, right? Once again, but he gonna get to it. He's gonna talk about how his brothers is into tarot cards, but his parents are very Catholic and spiritual. And what Juan is telling us is he's neither one of them. He has nothing on the inside. Well, what is your guiding light? What is your star? You see, what are you governed by? And what Juan is governed by is himself. And what Karla has said is, I'm not in control of everything, Juan. I don't try to control everybody, everything, every moment. I don't try to predict every outcome. I don't try to control every outcome, but Juan does. So here we are once again talking about how his experience on Love is Blind. Married at First Sight has been great. It hasn't been great, Juan. It might have been good. It might have not been a disaster, but it's not great. It's not great. Stop it. Stop it, Juan.
It would be about my expectations because, the survival rate of couples on the show is like 20%. So there was an 80% chance that, we wouldn't make it, or I would be matched with someone that I wasn't really into. And I was okay with that. I up front, I told myself, Juan, you're going to have.
So there he is. So once again, like I said, when a person focuses on the negative, which is fine, he runs down the stats. 20% stay together, 80% divorce, don't stay together or don't make it. And so what he said was, I pretty much resigned myself that I wasn't going to make it. I was going to be part of the 80%. That's what Juan just told us. He basically told us, I know the odds, 80-20, and I know that 80 is the higher number. So more than likely what's going to happen is I'm going to be part of the 80%. That's the mindset he went into this marriage with. He went into the marriage with the mindset that I'm already part of the 80%. And what would have to happen is this woman would have to convince me to be part of the 20%, the winning 20%. And it's what we saw with Juan from the very beginning, that he actually never really gave the marriage a real shot in terms of this connection part, because Juan had already made up his mind in his spiraling, in his negative thinking, that he was going to be part of the 80%. And he uses as his justification the statistics. You see, I'm an engineer, so don't talk to me about no statistics, right? But as a person, as an individual, I can look at statistics and I can still say, I don't care. I'm going to be part of the 20%. Because when you look at statistics and you see 80-20, what you say to yourself is, I'm a winner though. I'm a winner. I'm always part of the 20%. If I graduate from high school, if I graduate from college, if I'm on a job, I'm always part of the 20%. I don't care about the 80%. The median income, I'm not in the 80% of less. I'm going to be in the 20% because I think positively. I'm an engineer. I know statistics. I still know 80-20, but I'm going to tell you I'm going to be in the 20. But Juan, with his negative thinking, says to himself, the stats on Married at First Sight are 80-20. I'm going to be in the 80, but maybe this woman can convince me that we might be part of the 20. That's too much work. I got to dig you out of your negative mindset. You mean you didn't come in here with no positive mindset that you was going to be on the 20? No. That's why I'm telling you, this toxic positivity that Juan has is fake. It's phony. It's a coping mechanism his therapist has taught him, and it's not working. What the therapist needs to go to is stop putting a Band-Aid on his wounds and telling him how to think positively. The therapist needs to go with him and unearth all that trauma from his childhood, dig it up, root it up, kill it, and show him that it does not serve him in this life. Not putting perfume on a funky ass body. Not trying to sell me a shit and calling it caviar. Juan is a salesperson, and I'm tired of it.
The best time, regardless of who you're matched with, which I did. And I'm not going to lie, Karla and I had a great time. But we all watched the show, and, there's been a few places online where people have said that I've robbed Karla of the opportunity to find love on this show. And Karla didn't rob me of anything, and I didn't rob Karla of anything either.
Okay, Juan. When I say that you robbed Karla of an opportunity or you weren't ready to be on this show, I'm going to stick with it. And I'm not saying that because you were mean. You weren't mean. What I'm saying it for is, one is you actually did rob Karla of some constructive feedback, because one of the things I say about this show is even if you don't come away with a mate, a husband, or a wife, it is an opportunity for people to grow in their own individual journeys to finding love. And part of that growth is getting constructive feedback from a person you're with. And what you robbed Karla was, because everybody has things they need to work on, and Karla has things she needs to work on. You robbed her through your toxic positivity of not giving her constructive feedback. So even if it's something that you were not interested in with her, she could have taken those parts and she could have worked on them to maybe better herself in the next relationship. You robbed her of that through your toxic positivity. You absolutely did. You also robbed her because you came on this show already believing that you were going to be part of the 80% that didn't make it. And what you were requiring of her was to actually prove to you that you could be part of the 20%. And that's unfair. That's absolutely unfair. So another thing that you did is you used Karla and her healing journey to suck from her to help you in your healing journey. And you also don't want to give her credit for that. That's the three things I have the biggest problem with you, Juan. Your toxic positivity, your inauthenticity, okay, and your negative mindset. All of this is what I have a problem with. Your selfishness, your need for things to, like I said, that picture with your girlfriend. Why did you pick that picture? You look good in it, but she did not look her best. The look on her face was not the best look. Why didn't you pick a picture that made her look great? Because all you were interested really in doing was showing her, showing yourself looking good. And I'm quite sure it was also to show that this is the body type that I like versus Karla's body type, which I don't have a problem with that. But in a lot of ways, you picked a picture that served your purpose, but actually didn't put your girlfriend in the best light. You could have picked another picture. She's a pretty girl. You could have picked another picture. And like I said before, you probably only with a Latina because now all of a sudden you realize maybe you should try Latinas, when before I'm quite sure you dated white women. I'm quite sure of it, Juan. Prove me wrong. Show me a picture of your ex-girlfriends, and I want to see some Latinas up in there. Because when I went on your Instagram to see this video, I started scrolling through your pictures, and I saw a whole lot of women around you, a whole lot of women that have been friend zoned by you. Friend zoned. The same thing you have done to Karla, friend zone. You like women around you, but you like to call them your friends. That's what I've noticed. Your friends. Just like this little picture here, whatever, of your girlfriend that you posted. I think you posted something in Portuguese. Basically was your girl, your girl. Is she your woman or your girl? Which one is it? Even on the reunion, are you in a relationship? Yeah, it's going good. Come on, Juan. Come on, Juan. You called Karla your girl. You didn't want to be with her. Are you using this girl too? Are you using this girl that you're with right now just to prove that you can be with a Latina, just to prove to all of us that you are ready for a relationship? Is this what's going on, Juan? Are you once again trying to present some type of positive outcome of all of this, but it's really not real? I'm going to start this video again. I'm about to start it right now.
Look, when you go on Married at First Sight, you don't have no contractual obligation to love, cherish, respect, or anything. I mean, you've seen it season after season where a person is not into the other person and they're literally mean to them. And I never was that. You know, I wasn't into Karla for very obvious reasons. Number one, you know, I think she's a pretty girl, but everyone has their type and she's just not my type. You know, she is just not my type. You know, physically, she's just not my type. Number two, you know, she let her lease run out and moved into a storage unit. I get it. You wanted to save money while you're filming the show. But, you know, I wasn't very fond of that. I mean, that's just not showing me responsibility.
I was not into Karla for very obvious reasons. No, it's obvious to you because, like I said, you have a math equation in your head and it adds up to something in your head. But that does not mean it adds up to the same equation in other people's heads. It could add up to the same equation in a lot of people's heads. It wouldn't add up to the same equation in my head, like I said, because I didn't have no problem with Carla stuff being in the storage unit. I'm telling you, God's honest truth, y'all, I could see myself doing the same exact thing, and I'm not a Dusty. I could absolutely, and what Juan is saying is, in order to keep up appearances, you should have still kept your apartment, Carla. Why? Just so you feel good? See, that's what I'm saying. I don't roll like that. I don't roll with doing things just to keep up an appearance if it's something that I feel isn't pertinent to who I am. I mean, is Carla homeless right now? Is Carla living in a storage shed? Like all these things people said about Carla, is it true? Is she jobless? Because if she's not homeless and she's not jobless, that would mean all of your conclusions were wrong. That's what this would mean. And unless someone can tell me Carla is homeless, living in a storage shed, and she ain't got no job, then this would mean that whatever fears, concerns that Juan had were wrong. They were inflated. He was spiraling. So now he's telling me I wasn't interested for obvious reasons. No, it's obvious for you, which is fine, but that doesn't mean, and like I said before, I don't have a problem when people don't like each other. It's part of every season. But what I like for people to do is to be honest. Be honest and stop trying to act like the reason you're not being honest with the person is to spare that person's feelings. Now, what Juan is going to try to tell us is the reason why he never was honest with Carla was to spare her feelings. That's a lie. The reason he was not honest with Carla was to protect himself. You see? He is about the self. He was not choosing not to be honest with Carla to protect Carla. He was choosing not to be honest to protect himself, because if he is governed by protecting Carla, why are you on here right now talking bad about Carla like this? Why are you here now? The reason you are here now is because you have figured out that people still like Carla. They don't like you. So now you are here defending yourself. You have thrown Carla to the wind. Like Carla said on the honeymoon, you forgot about me. You left me. You don't care about me. Juan tries to reframe everything he does to be something wrong with Carla, but yet it is about him. Him. Let's keep going.
And it's not showing me stability, which I was fine with. I helped her move into the storage unit. I didn't make a big deal about that, whatever. She lost her job, and she actually got fired from that job because she didn't see eye to eye with her boss. That's fine, but listen, this was all televised.
Okay, she lost her job because she didn't see eye to eye with her boss. Looks like she didn't get along with the salon owner. She didn't get along with him, and the salon owner probably said, you over there filming, you're not coming to work, you're not doing hair, you either show up or you leave. And Carla said she quit, she got fired, whatever the case may be. And I don't know, I call it quiet quitting. That's what Carla did. Carla quiet quit, and her customers all went with her. That's what happened. I mean, that's the truth. But I think it's the way in which you frame it. I mean, I don't know. I just been getting my hair done a long time out here in the world, and stylists change shops all the time. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. So to use that as a framework to frame her as a person who can't get along with people, but yet Carla is well liked. How is it that Carla got fired? You're trying to paint a picture that she's not well liked, but you are. So then why are you here? If she's so disliked by people and can't get along with people, why are you here defending yourself? You should just sit back and and people just completely beat up on Carla. Carla ain't here defending herself. Why are you here? Why are you here? Let's keep going.
Even though maybe I didn't make a huge deal out of it, you guys saw I wasn't necessarily happy. She had no plan. I asked her about her plan, and she had no plan. She had a job that she booked in New York, which she didn't even have a rate for. Okay, whatever. You know, we went on. I respected her. Her lifestyle, look, I respect it. I don't disrespect her lifestyle, but it doesn't align with me. You know, I'm not into the tarot. I'm not into the burning of the sage all every day, Palo Santo. If my mom is Catholic and my brother reads tarot, it doesn't define me. You know, we just didn't align. Like, I'm not into the crystals. It's too much. It was just too much for me, you know, like.
And Juan, that's okay. Your brother's into the tarot. You're not into that. Your mother is the Catholic religion. You're not into that. Then why couldn't you just say that? Why couldn't you just have that conversation? What's wrong with the conversation, Juan? That's the part I have a problem with. Because obviously you've gotten along in a family in which there are different ways in which people express their spirituality or whatever else. You get along in your family just fine. Like you said, your brother's reading tarot cards and your mother is a devout Catholic, but you've managed to love them both. You've managed to get along in the family. And I'm not saying that you need to choose Karla as your wife. You could say, hey, I don't want a wife who does this because for whatever reason. Well, why not have that conversation, Juan? I would have loved to hear the conversation for Juan to say, you know what? My mother's Catholic. I don't believe in the Catholicism. My brother reads tarot cards. I don't believe in that. But this is what I do believe in. What do you believe in, Juan? Or are you atheist? I don't know. But it would have been great to hear it. But because you've decided that you want to be toxic positive and you want to frame not bashing Karla for the tarot card readers. No, Juan, what you were doing was you were protecting yourself. You actually didn't want to have the conversation about spirituality because, Juan, what is your spiritual beliefs? You see, that's what happens when you come in, and if he would have had the conversation with Karla about spirituality, whether it's tarot cards, crystals, sage, Catholicism, whatever, it would have opened up a conversation for dialogue, and we would have learned what does Juan like. But Juan never shared it with us. We don't even know what it is. So now what we're stuck with is we're stuck with a Juan putting down Karla's beliefs, Karla's whatever, and we don't know shit about Juan. So we can scrutinize Karla all we want, and Juan gets to sit over here all protected. Because you know what? He didn't share shit about himself, and we don't know what he believes. This man is selfish, and he wraps it in paper and says, I'm doing it for you. Boy, get the hell out of here.
And it's not like I didn't talk about it. I did talk about it on the show. I'm not into that. You know, Karla on the show, like you could just tell, like she doesn't really know how to cook. I mean, in one of the episodes, she didn't know how to turn on a gas oven. You know, she didn't really help me clean the apartment much. For me personally, those are things that are things that are like, you know, core values.
Karla doesn't know how to cook. I don't know if Karla knows how to cook. She told me she does, but I don't know. She did look like she had problems with that stove. I ain't gonna lie. She looked like she had a lot of problems with that stove. But the part of not cooking for you, I don't have no problem with it. I wouldn't cook for you either. I would not have cooked for you. If you can't, let me tell you something. If I'm living with you and we're in this trial marriage and you can't even hold my hand, you can't even give me a hug, I'm not cooking a damn thing for you. Not a damn thing. Cooking for someone is an act of love. And if you're not showing me any love whatsoever, you're not getting no meal from me. You are not getting a meal from me. I don't care if I'm Chef Boyardee. I'm not cooking you shit. I'm not. Sorry. Call me petty.
That they weren't in line with my lifestyle. And at the end of the day, I saw no future with Karla. That's it. I don't think there's anything wrong with Karla. You know, Karla, there's a person out there for Karla, and there's a person out there for me.
They were not in alignment with your lifestyle, which is okay. but what is your lifestyle? See, that's what he's not answering. It's really good to sit here and say, you don't align with me. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Okay. Well, what do you do? What is your lifestyle? You see, that's the part that Juan has left out. He has focused on what Karla isn't, which is fine. People can agree or disagree. But even if you completely agree with him, you also have to ask yourself, well, what about you? What do you believe in? What are your spiritual beliefs? What are your values? All I know about Juan is, like I said before, his childhood trauma is he never wants to be poor. He wants to have a whole lot of jobs and he wants to do a whole lot of stuff. But yet he's over here commandeering Wancho Pancho as his Instagram logo that Karla gave to him. You're supposed to be the businessman with a business plan. Why you need Karla over here to help you come up with a slogan? I told y'all from the very beginning I didn't like him. I didn't like him from the very beginning. I like him even less now, if that's even possible.
The worst part about this is that there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes in confidentiality. And there's things that Karla did on the show, which I won't talk about because I don't want to hurt her personal integrity and reputation.
Okay. Once again, you see what he just did? We signed NDAs. There's a whole lot of things that happen behind the scenes that Karla did, but I don't want to say them because I don't want to harm her personal reputation. You just did. If all these things happen behind closed doors, we didn't even know about them. We wouldn't even imagine them. So the very fact that you just illuminated and said that there were things that happen behind closed doors that are covered by NDA, but you don't want to talk about them, you just did. You just aroused all of the suspicion, everyone. And you want to tell me that you're here to protect Karla? No, you're here to expose Karla. I have not seen any of this from Karla. And if I'm wrong, but I have not seen a video from Karla. So this idea that you just use this phrase to say, there's a whole lot of things that happen behind closed doors that I'm not going to talk about because I want to protect her integrity. Boy, you just exposed her. You are here for yourself. Period. Point blank.
There's three things that Karla did that I should have just stepped away, but I didn't. I kept going out of respect, and I'm never going to publicly talk about those. Now,
he said there's three things that are so egregious. Listen to what this man just said. There are three things. He's really explicit. There are three things that Karla explicitly did that they were egregious enough that I should have just walked away. But because of my toxic positivity, I did not only not talk about them in the moment, I won't talk about them here now. But what I will do is I will bring it up and expose it as being so egregious that now what I'll do is I'll let all of you guys' imagination run wild. And whatever you can come up with, it could be that. But I'm not going to confirm it because I'm here to protect Karla. Y'all, this is horrible. This is horrible. But like I said, all things come to light. There were so many people on this show that, you know what? I'm actually going to give a lot of these matchmakers a little bit of a break this season because what I believe is there was a concerted effort by a lot of these cast members to even fool the experts. Madison for sure. Madison, we know, presented as a good guy, a good girl. Trying to be a hoe from a housewife. She presented herself as an all-American girl, and come to find out, she's none of that. And so she got matched poorly. She got matched with a wholesome guy, and had she presented who she really was, maybe they would have put her with David, because she and David actually are a very good match. And for what I heard, Dr. Pepper saw it from the very beginning. Maybe Dr. Pepper was able to sniff out the bad girl in Madison and realized that David had that bad boy in him too, and they might be a good match. Because Madison told us she was looking for a bad boy who was willing to get married, and she wasn't able to find that. She was dating a lot of bad boys, but none of them wanted to get married. And what she found in David was a bad boy who actually wanted to get married. And that became her perfect match. Now we find out with Juan, who Juan presented was not who he is. He presented himself as this positive, free-flowing, outgoing guy. Remember, I love to dance. I love to have fun. I love to sing, dance. He's just this happy-go-lucky guy. Well, Karla is a happy-go-lucky person. So what they thought was, here are these two happy-go-lucky people, and maybe they'll make a good couple. But the problem is Juan was lying. Juan is not happy-go-lucky. That's the facade. The toxic positivity, happy-go-lucky, the dancing, all that is the facade. The real Juan that lies beneath is the person we see here on camera right now. This is the real Juan, the negative thinker. The glass is half empty, not half full. This is the real Juan. He's actually the opposite of Karla. This is why what he's saying is we didn't align on a lot of things. They didn't. They didn't align on a lot of things because who Juan presented to the experts is not actually who he really is. When Juan says Karla is not grounded, she's here, she's flighty, she's all of that, Juan presented a person who's entrepreneurial, who's an out-of-the-box thinker, who was a risk taker. He's none of that. He's very safe. He's very, very safe. He's scary. He's negative thinking. He's none of the things that he presented to the experts. And as such, he was matched poorly with Karla. They were a poor match because Juan lied on who he is because he doesn't know who he is. He's come to believe he really is this positive thinker, and he's not. Not once did Karla and Juan even go dancing. Think of the stories that Juan tells us. You never went dancing. You said you wanted a woman who understood your Latino side, but yet I don't think you even dated a Latina woman before, besides this new lady. It's all lies.
Now, her family, obviously, everyone has things that are confidential to their life. And these are confidential things that we signed NDAs and said that we weren't going to share. And they're literally blackmailing me because I'm talking my truth when being asked, why didn't you like Karla? Look.
Okay. He almost just threatened the family. He said the family has confidential things that we signed NDAs about. Why are you bringing up her family and about like you're going to expose their secrets? We know Karla's father was very private. He didn't want to be on camera. So Juan, are you trying to leverage that now and saying you're going to use that against Karla? He's talking here about how Karla is blackmailing him. It sounds like you trying to blackmail Karla. The way you talking right now, this is sounding like this is a veiled threat. This is what this is sounding like. And let me tell you something, Juan. You're accusing Karla blackmailing you with a veiled threat through a bot. But these threats are coming out of your mouth. You're in a worse position than you think. You are accusing Karla of blackmail, but it's coming through a computer bot that you haven't even proven she's behind. But yet the veiled threats you're presenting on camera right now are coming out of your own mouth and you're on camera and you're saying it. Where is your attorney? Your attorney should be telling you to shut the hell up. Or maybe your attorney ain't real either.
I'm not saying anything that wasn't televised. These were all things that were televised, and these were all concerns, and we talked about them. It's not like I didn't call them out on the show. I did. So now they want me to change my narrative, and they're blackmailing me. They're blackmailing me and telling me that if I don't talk nice about Karla, is basically what they're saying. Then
what, Juan? If you don't talk nice about Karla, then what? What's the threat? Then what, Juan? They're going to expose some secret of yours? Is that what you're saying? Finish the sentence. But no, you can't finish the sentence. What was the threat? If you don't talk nice about Karla. So you mean to tell me this whole season, when you were talking nice about Karla with your toxic positivity, you told us you were doing that because you're a positive person. You take the high road. You're sophisticated. You're intelligent. But now you're telling us you're being forced to talk positive about Karla because you're being threatened by Karla's family. Is this what you're trying? Juan, is this the same story that your maid of your poor family was trying to kidnap you? And that's why your family had to give you to your aunt? Is this another one of these stories?
I mean, it's crazy. So, I hate that this is happening. Like, I really thought highly of Karla and her family until now, because this is just crazy. Creating a bot account to go after me and talk crap about my girlfriend. Who knows what they're going to post on that account? And I just hate for this to go into legal, because I don't want it to go that way. I should be able to speak my truth without having people blackmail me and tell me, things that are in confidentiality. It's just sad, guys, and I'm coming up on here to make this statement because this is crazy. Like, this is truly crazy. I didn't think that I was going to have to deal with this. I should be able to speak my truth about my experience on Married at First Sight and why it didn't work out with Karla. And these were all things that maybe I didn't call them out like other people on the show did, for their partners, the things they did and dislike them, but I did. And I just didn't make this huge deal out of him like everybody else did. I just respected her and I said, look, I don't agree with this, but let's have fun. Let's keep going and seeing, where we gel. And we never gelled. Period. That's it, guys. I have nothing against her and her family, but this is just too much. Like, if you guys know her, reach out to her and say, look, you need to relax. Like, he had his experience on the show and it's a valid experience. And I should be able to talk about everything that was televised. I'm not talking about anything that happened in confidentiality or private, and making accounts to like bully me. This is just crazy. I never thought that this was going to come to this, but anyways, it is what it is. And if it goes further, I have a lawyer. He's already engaged, and we will go after whoever we need to go after if they're jeopardizing my integrity and reputation, because this is wild.
So now you're being silenced? So now you're being silenced by Karla's family. What are they, some big Mexican mafia cartel family that they've silenced you? One acts like he in Cuba and he speaking against Fidel Castro family. What is he talking about? Like, Karla's family is so powerful. What the hell is he talking about? Because he's spiraling. He's spiraling. It's what Juan does naturally. He thinks the worst of situations. And he's talking about getting a lawyer. You know what? If you retain a lawyer and pay lawyer fees for this bullshit, you're stupid. You're stupid. This isn't worth retaining a lawyer over. No, we ain't even seen it. I hope if you give your money to a lawyer over this situation because you're talking about how you don't like Karla and Karla's family is creating a bot account. This is crazy, Juan. You're looking crazy. I know you're on here to show Karla looking crazy and make her family look crazy. But really what it's doing is it's making you look crazy. It really, really is. So what I want to know, Juan, is if you thought Karla was so irresponsible, she practiced religious cults that you don't believe in, and there were so many things, why do you even want to be friends with her? If you have such fundamental differences in these things that you talked about, which is fine, I still want to know why you need to be friends with her. Why did you push friendship so much? Because this all feels like a whole 180-degree turnaround. You're going in the whole opposite direction now. In the beginning, Karla was so wonderful. You wanted to be lifelong friends with Karla. You wanted Karla to be in your life, even though you had a new girlfriend. You want to have coffee. You want to do all this. Now you sit on here talking about, I don't believe in nothing Karla believes in. You sound crazy. You look stupid. You look like a liar. You look like a fool. You look like a man whose ego has been crushed because Karla didn't want to be friends with you afterwards. You wanted it to be all about you were completely rejecting Karla, and Karla was also rejecting you. Karla revealed on the reunion that she even told the girls in the girl circle, if anybody wants my husband, you can have him. I think this was all new to Juan. I think Juan thought that he was the prime rejecter of Karla. And what he has figured out is that no, you were getting rejected too. She didn't want you either. And you're having a problem with it. That's what it's feeling like. So now all of a sudden, you're telling us that people are forcing you to say good things about Karla. Did no one force you to say anything, Juan? Take responsibility for your own actions, what you did or didn't do, the opportunities you did or did not take advantage of. Take responsibility for your own toxic positivity at the expense of your own being authentic and be truthful. Take responsibility. I'm tired of listening to this video. He has a lawyer. The lawyer's already engaged if they're going after his reputation. What reputation? For your business assets? I mean, Karla was married to you. Just like you can be on camera and say you don't like Karla and her sage burning, she can go on camera and say she doesn't like you for this. That's not threatening your business. She's just speaking of an experience with you in terms of dating. What are you talking about? Ugh. And this is a guy who said he's so much more business savvy than Karla is and was going to give Karla advice. No. Juan, stop it. If your lawyer is any good, what he will tell you to do is stop making these videos. This is nothing. Let it go away. This is Married at First Sight. I guarantee you no one will be thinking about you after this last reunion part 2. This is what we do on Married at First Sight. We watch the show during the season. After the season is over, honestly, we could care less about you people on Married at First Sight. Maybe a few of our favorites we follow, but you're not nobody's favorite. Ain't nobody going to be following you, Juan. Don't believe it. I know you got your little blue check because you think you're so important, but really, Juan, you're not going to get a lot of followers. People don't want to follow you. You're creating content to draw people to you. And actually, if you would just be quiet, we would just all forget about you. We really, really would. Anyway, bye, Juan. Bye.